So this is the next wedding video I did. This is with the A7III. I put a little bit of warp stabilization so you can kind of see it moving a little bit, but I really like it. I really like how the camera handles itself, moves around. On these shots that are coming up, these are all shot on the XH1 with the 16mm. Stabilization was on. I really do like the process that was there. As far as the stabilization, shutter speed was a little low, and I got all this natural light from the window that was there in the next shot. You'll see. His brother was helping us out quite a bit. It was actually pretty cool that his brother was helping out, straighten out some stuff, fix the flowers, and he just helped him put his jacket on and kind of things like that. That was pretty cute. Now the next few shots are our first look. Really did enjoy this. The groom gave his bride a note where she was reading it. That's the shot that you can be seeing here in a few moments. She was very happy about it. She kind of teared up and cried as she read it. And then she gave him a big hug. I like that that where I was at really got a view of him. And then at the very end, because I was a second shooter on this portion, I got kind of a side angle from it. But I got a lot of view from where he's at. I didn't get too much view from where she's at on the photos. But I like being able to get a little bit of the reaction of the groom from time to time. Now the next 2 or 3 shots that I have on here were done with the 16mm XH1. Stabilization came in real handy here because I had to lower the shutter speed for these shots. One shot came out super jittery, but then eventually I was able to stand still, hold it up against my body, and I did get these 2 shots. These two, this video and the photo that you're going to see, were shot with 55 to 140, extended all the way out to 140, and then I zoomed in. But I did like the way the color rendition came out, and this was shot with the XT3. Now every one of these shots was shot with the 55 to 140. You're going to see this video in a couple of seconds, and I want you to look at the focus in the back. And it took a moment to focus on him. I had to move a little bit, and then it focused on the groom. All the rest of these shots came out perfectly focused. I only had like 1 or 2 missed shots, but for the most part, every single one of these, 140 millimeters, 2.8, it came out really great. Now this last shot right here that you're going to see here in a few moments, this shot was with the 16mm 1.4, shot at like f8, I think it was. Now, if you look at the shadows on all the shots, the sun was pretty harsh during this time period. What I love about Fuji is that I can adjust it just a little bit, and the colors come out great. All the purple came out really nice. Lavender came out really nice. I guess that's the color. The black suits came out really beautiful, even with the sharp, sunlight. And a lot of people know, I mean, sharp sunlight is it's hard to shoot in overall. Now these next couple of shots, these interior shots of detail, the focal length really does not matter here. I shot this with 35 f2 at 2.0, and really truthfully, every single one of these shots came out really crisp and sharp. I took the same shots with the 55 to 140 from pretty far away. Other than the cake, all of them came out really well. You can kind of see the first shot if you go back. That one was a little tight because I was up against the wall and people were signing that, so I did need a little bit, like a 16, maybe 23, but the 35 did perfectly fine. It's really inside with the walls, the focal length does not matter. If you're trying to get reach, I would say 100% you need the zoom lens, but really truthfully, you can get away with anything because most of your f-stops are going to be 2, 2.8, 3, 4, even all the way up to 8.0, and people are going to say, oh, focal length with your primes, but you couldn't tell if I shot this with the 55 to 140 or the 35 2.0. They were both going to be shot at almost f4. I think I shot one of them at f2, but really truthfully you can't tell anything with the prime, and I judge to guess anybody that goes in there and goes, oh, I'm going to shoot with the prime, and you're going to tell they're all sharp. Ain't nobody going to know. Now this is one thing I love about Fuji. Oh my god, their black and white looks amazing. I love this photo. This was shot with a 16mm with the flash on top. I use Godox flashes, which I'll talk about down the road. There's 3 Godox flashes that I use, and this was on camera flash, I think, and this turned out really well. I really love Fuji's black and white. The monochrome comes out great. This is a JPEG shot. It's beautiful. Now all the shots that you see here were done with the Fuji XH1 and the 16mm. Every single one of these, I was real close here. The flash was on top, very light. I mean, you can barely tell the flashes here. You're going to be able to see here in this video in just a few moments some of the downfalls behind Fuji and focusing, and it's going to come up right here. It took a moment to focus. It's a little jittery because there's no IBIS on the 16mm. It kept on losing focus every time she turned. I mean, very slight, but it was really good. So after the first dance, we went outside. These are all taken with the 55-140. I was standing back pretty far from most of these shots. You can barely tell. They were all shot at 2.8, so very sharp focus. This shot at the very end, I think, was shot at 4.0 or 8. I can't really remember per se, but they came out pretty good. I try to match the colors best you can, but the sun was moving in all different directions, so the colors are going to be a little bit different because of the sunlight. But for the most part, On One did its job. It did what it wanted to do. I did put a little bit of artistic, flair into one or two of the first pictures, but for the most part, it was a good wedding. This happened right after first dance. We just took some nice little portraits of them walking. It was really beautiful. So I really want you to think about these shots that are here. Some of these shots were shot with the Fuji XT3, XH1, and then the last one was a Sony A7III, all with the 55-140 and the 70-200. I bet you $100 you couldn't tell which one was which. The Sony was at f4, the Fuji XT3 was at 2.8, and the XH1 was at f4 also. I highly doubt that you could tell any one of these shots of which one was Sony, which one's Fuji, what was shot at 2.8, what was shot at f4. I mean, it was pretty good. Low light was great. I did give it to Fuji on this. It did capture quite a bit on the low light. There were a couple of missed shots on this. I really wish I had some extra sunlight or light in general, but Fuji, handled pretty good overall. The last thing is I just want to kind of talk about focal length with these few shots that are here. The shot with them was shot at 16mm. The next shot that you're going to see is with the cake. It was shot at 140. The next few shots that are going to be outside are shot with the 16mm also. Now, a couple things is you just zoom with your feet and you get different looks. So both these shots at the end, the shot with the 16mm, I just moved up a little bit or moved back, and it worked out. The only thing about Fuji is the stabilization is not that great, and the low light isn't great when you're trying to focus. You can kind of see it in one of the videos, but for the most part, everything's amazing. I love it. This is pretty much the end of the video, and I want to thank you for watching. The last couple of things I'm just going to state with my last couple of photos is that I use Fuji and Sony. They're just tools, like I said before. But On One, if you look right here at this picture here in just a few moments, is my processing, my first set of processing. I grab a picture, I put a star, what I like, and then I move on. This is the DJ. And once I do that, I just let the computer do everything for me, and I adjust contrast and some light. But other than that, this, On One is my first step, my first process of correlating the photos, categorizing them, and then moving on. I want to thank the bride and groom, the venue in New Braunfels, and I hope you have a good night, good day.